So with the upcoming Paris Olympics 2024, which is just around the corner, the Olympic torch relay made its way through the Department of OE on Thursday. Stage 60 of the relay saw the torchbearer start in a convoy before finishing up in Beauvais, where 1996 French Olympic fencing champion Sophie lit the cauldron. Friday's stage will go from Château de Temercourt to Soissons-Montmorency. The relay will culminate with the lighting of the cauldron in the host city Paris during the opening ceremonies of the game, scheduled to take place on the 26th of July. The Paris Olympics Committee, its organizing committee said that a global cyber outage was slowing its operation, but the impact was limited and ticket sales were unaffected ahead of the games, which begins in a week's time now. The global tech outage that appeared to be related to issues at global cybersecurity firm CrowdStrike and Microsoft were affecting the operations in many sectors, including airports, airlines, media and the banks as well. At the Games Press Center, security checks outside were done manually using list of names, and the accreditation desk was also closed. The head of the Paris Olympics Organizing Committee, Tony Estanquet, said that contingency plans were put in place. Amidst all this, the first Olympic athletes to arrive in Paris began checking into the Olympic Village on Thursday. Athletes from Australia, South Africa, Japan, Uruguay and the United States were some of the first to arrive to the village, which is in Saint-Denis, adjacent to the city of Paris, where most of the competitions will be taking place. The complex will host more than 20,000 athletes and delegates throughout the Olympics and Paralympics. 1,500 residents will check into the village on the first day of the operations, with more to come throughout the week and into the lead up to the opening ceremonies. The Olympic Games will start from the 26th of July and will continue until the 11th of August. And now I'm joined by DD India correspondent from France, Ross Cullen. A very good evening to you from India, Ross. Now, athletes have started arriving and we are just a few days away from the mega event. How are the preparations going on there in Paris?
Yeah, people are starting to arrive now. The athletes, the dignitaries, the visitors are all starting to come in before Wednesday, the 24th of July, which marks the start of the sporting competition, with some of the rugby and football preliminary matches, although the actual official opening ceremony will be on the 26th of July, and then the medal events begin the day after, next Saturday. So a week tomorrow, the first gold medals here in France for Paris 2024 will be handed out. The city is all but ready. The venues are all but complete. The finishing touches now being put over the next couple of days to the Seine riverbanks, because the river flowing through the centre of Paris, the Seine, will be where the opening ceremony will be taking place. Dozens of boats carrying thousands of athletes travelling down the river for the spectacle, which will finish just next to the Eiffel Tower. All of the bridges over the river will be filled with people, music and dance and artistic performances as part of the opening ceremony, and some 300,000 people set to be in the stands along the 6-kilometre route watching the amazing opening ceremony live. The first time an opening ceremony has ever been staged at an Olympics outside the stadium. It's usually in the Olympic Stadium. Paris 2024 organisers said they wanted to do something completely different, not hold it in a stadium, hold it on the river, on a moving waterway in the centre of the French capital, although there are lots of security concerns about that. The police and the Interior Ministry working overtime to try to ensure that any possible threats to the Olympic opening ceremony are suppressed ahead of time. So the preparations underway and the games get underway for sure on the 26th of July.
And also, Ross, are there any special arrangements outside the stadium for the fans who cannot make it to the stadium inside there watching the events live?
Yes, there are fan zones across the city, dozens of them. There's also an urban zone. So just down the road from here, from where I am on the Champs-Élysées, is Place de la Concorde, one of the biggest public squares in Paris, which has been completely taken over by Paris 2024 for the urban sports. The skateboarding, the 3-on-3 basketball, the BMX cycling, also the break dancing. And there is an urban zone there where you can mix and you can watch some of the things on big screens right up close. You'll be able to see some of the events in the background. You won't be able to get a ticket to access, but there are mixed zones for fans also to try to soak up the atmosphere as close as possible to the venue, even if you don't have a ticket to access inside the venue. So lots of fan zones and lots of areas where there could be accessibility for people who don't happen to have a ticket.
Thank you so much, Ross, for joining us and bringing us the latest information on how the preparations are going on there in Paris for the upcoming Paris Olympics. Now, during the opening ceremony of the Paris Games, Khalid will be one of the 94 boat captains transporting nearly 10,000 athletes down the Seine River. A captain on the Seine since 2010, the 60-year-old heard a couple of months ago that he would be taking part in the 6 kilometers parade. The parade starts at 7:30 p.m. according to local time. The crew have already taken part in 2 training sessions. The sailors are trained to navigate specific conditions and follow safety protocols as well. Khalid is aware of the security risks during the ceremony, but he is thrilled to take part in the event.
I have been a boat captain on the Seine River since 2010. I have walked on several boats, including this one. We cannot wait and we are excited. You have no idea how happy I am to participate in these Olympic Games that many French people, 67 million French people to be exact, would also like to be among us. It's a great source of pride. Frankly, I'm happy to represent my nation, which is France.